Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. We are here at Studio T at 4040 Chapel Hill Road in Douglasville, Georgia, and I am so excited about today's show. I have two amazing guests that are going to be on my show today, and they are going to share their Pit to Purpose story. Let me tell you a little bit about what Focus Forward Robin is all about. The purpose of this show is to help you think, believe, and achieve your dreams, even during your stuck moments, while being inspired by the guests that are on my show with their Pit to Purpose story. And it's a true life story. That is what is so amazing. Also, some of the things that I do besides this show, I host red carpet events, I do motivational speaking, and I teach servant leadership. So if you're ever interested in any of my services, or if you'd like to be a guest on my show, I'd love to connect with you. All you got to do is inbox me on Facebook or Instagram, or go to my YouTube channel and check me out there as well. All right, we're going to start out with our first guest today, but we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network at Studio T in Douglasville, Georgia. I want to take just a brief moment to talk about my sponsors that are sponsoring us for this month. The first sponsor that we have is Miss Tangi Roseborough. She is with the Pain to Purpose magazine. She actually has a TV show in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, which is Pain to Purpose. And what is so exciting about the Pain to Purpose magazine, I'm a contributing author in her magazine. So I write food blogs, and I also write stories and talk about other people about their Pit to Purpose stories. But what is so amazing, for the month of July, her magazine, yours truly, Robin Shockley, will be on the cover of the magazine. So you're going to get to hear about my own personal story in this magazine. If you would like a copy of the magazine, I would love to be able to provide that service to you. So all you got to do is message me on Facebook or Instagram or email me. I'll be glad to tell you the information about getting your copy. Other ways that you can reach me on social media is group pages. I have the Focus Forward Robin Show. You can reach me there. You can reach me at Legacy Tree Outreach. That's where I do the community service advocacy. And Instagram, of course, and YouTube. Another sponsor I would love to mention is Infinite Designs, which is Drina Torres. She is located in Los Angeles, California, and I'm a contributing author for her magazine as well. So I'm really excited about being connected to these two magazines. If you're looking for a freelance writer to offer services that you provide, I would love to be able to work with you, and we could get more information about that. My last sponsor of the day for this month is none other than Heart of the Carolinas. I love Heart of the Carolinas with Andre Harrison and Frank Lamar Henderson. They are my bosses. They're wonderful. And we are located in Malden, South Carolina. I am actually the community relations marketing person for Heart of the Carolinas. So what we do is we offer special services to senior citizens who need to be able to stay in the comfort of their home without causing the stress of family members. So what we do, we provide services such as bathing, we help with medications, we help with doctor's trips, and just spend quality time with the seniors just so they can feel comfortable. And we actually link you up with the right people so they will be comfortable. And we are Catholic owned and operated as well, so I know that's a big plus to the community. So we're not going to hold you up anymore. We're going to get right into my first guest. I'm so excited to have this gentleman with us. He has got an amazing story. He's very personal to me. He's a good friend of mine from Greenville, South Carolina, and he came all the way down to Douglasville, Georgia to be on my show. Welcome, Mr. Leonard Pitts.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, also known as LP.
Yes.
LP,
yes.
And LP, we're going to talk a little bit what LP also stands for.
Okay.
But tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Well, first, before I start, I want to say big kudos to you. I am so proud. I am so proud in your accomplishments and what you're doing here with the RSGN network. Kudos to you at first.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You've helped been a big push in the last year, and I really appreciate that so much. And we'll talk about that, how you've helped with people with that. So tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about who you are today, then we'll backtrack and talk about how you got to where you are.
Well, again, my name is Leonard Pitts, a.k.a. LP. I am an entrepreneur / philanthropist, and I've been in business for close to 30 years now.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about a how you pronounce that again?
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist. Okay, tell us what that is, because some of my viewers might not know.
Basically, a philanthropist is a person that gives to the needy, gives to the less fortunate, and their primary passion is to give. Okay. That's basically what we are. What a philanthropist is, person that gives.
Well, then I must be that person too, because I love to do that. So that's my heart. I'm all about community and serving the community and giving back. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. So you're the philanthropist, and then also, what other things that you do?
I am my friends label me as a serial entrepreneur.
Serial entrepreneur, okay.
And what a serial entrepreneur is, someone that has multiple businesses.
Okay, I love that. So tell us a few of the businesses that you have.
Real estate development, business consulting, government contracting, transportation, tree company, painting company. I own a community pool.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, community pool. That's here. That's in Malden.
Yes, it's Malden.
Yes, and so you've been doing really great things with the community pool. A little bit. Let's dig into that part of it, because you're working with opening up to the public where people can actually come in and have parties and such, right? For the summer, because everybody loves to have a good time, be by the water. It's summertime, fellowship and stuff. But you're also offering services for like lessons to swim too, right?
Yes. Last year we introduced free swim lessons, and we're getting to a point to where we're going to eventually have anyone that walks into the club free swim, because if you can't swim, we're going to teach you how to swim throughout that summer. Right now we have a reduced group rate for people that charge it's a minimum fee that we charge that covers the lifeguards and their services to provide the swim lessons. So right now we are very minimal. But next year, I projected it's going to be free for everybody.
Wow.
Free swim.
I love that. I love that. And I do know that you have a heart of compassion to give back. And with me personally, some of the things that I know about your story, last year you actually did an event it was this year, you had done a vision board event with a lady, Bajaya Edie, and you guys talked about the vision and how to put things on paper, magazine, but you actually talked about the business side of it and how, you can come out of where your pit is, so to speak, and you can make purpose with it, and you can live your dream and live a purposeful life. So I want to kind of dig into a little bit about your history, because let's backtrack. And when I have guests on my show, I always like to go to the root of their issues, of where they started from. So you haven't always been an entrepreneur. I know on your bio you said that you started very young. You know, you and your twin brother. By the way, happy belated birthday to Mr. LP and his twin brother. Your birthday was, I think, yesterday?
Yesterday.
Awesome. So you haven't always, though, had it all together, and you had some rough patches, but you had that mindset of entrepreneurship. What triggered you to have a mindset of entrepreneurship?
Well, when I was about 14 years old, I graduated from the 8th grade, going to the 9th grade, to high school. And we used to like to dress kind of snazzy. And my mom told us, she said, hey, I'm going to provide all of your needs. Anything else you want outside your need, you have to work for it. And that's what prompted the entrepreneurship. As a matter of fact, it prompted it, but we were doing it way before she said that. But once she said that, hey, you had to provide your wants, then that was like, okay, well, I gotta step my game up. I gotta start working, and that's how it started.
I love that. My son was like that, because I didn't tell him that, but he kind of had that mindset. Also, he worked like multiple jobs when he was like 15 years old, you know, so he was a go-getter also to get out there. So with that being said, you've always had that mindset of wanting to do it, because basically you were told, you know, if I want something, I've got to go out and work for it, because my mom's going to pay for the needs. But if I want anything extra and I want to dress nice, you know, and I want to look good, or I want to have pleasure in going to events or something like that, you've got to be able to take care of that, right?
Yes, and two other pivotal moments in my life and early childhood is when I graduated high school. My mother wanted us to go to a higher education, so she tempted me with, hey, if you go to school, to a college, then I'm going to help you buy a car. So, hey, I didn't have a car, so I was like, you know what? I'll go to a college. Well, I didn't want to go to a 4-year college, because I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and work for myself.
Okay.
So I decided to go to a technical college, and that's where I went, to a technical college. And while I was, right before I went to the college, my brother had a Volkswagen Beetle, and it was in New York one day, and I was out there practicing how to drive. And for some reason, my mother, there was an old checkbook laying in the back seat of my mother, and it was a blank check in it. So I was trying to figure out, you know, this check, if I had some money, how much money will I want on this check? And I thought about it, and I wrote down $50,000. Now, I've never written a check before in my life, but it was self-taught. I taught myself how to write a check that day, and I forged my mother's name on it. Of course, couldn't cash it.
Yes.
But that was my goal one day, was to be able to write a $50,000 check for myself. And that was when I was 17 years old.
Wow, wow. That is so cool that you got that visual. Why do you think that you got that visual to want to write that $50,000 check? What prompted that?
Well, we grew up with my grandfather. My father left the house when we were about 4 years old.
Okay.
And luckily for us, we had the benefit of a grandfather. And our grandfather was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And so we were around him all the time. He used to talk to us all the time about money, you know, about being a person of your word. And he just instilled so much into us.
Yeah.
And when I started, you know, getting up to the age, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. You know, I want to be like my grandfather. I don't want to work for someone else. I want to work for myself. I want to control my own business. I want to control my own time.
I love that. Oh my God, I love the passion. I love the zeal. That's like major, you know, in today's world, because then it seems like everybody that, you know, you come into contact with today, they're looking for something better. They're looking to grow into something instead of just being stagnant. And so actually you've made the pathway available to people for that. So with this mindset, you started going out on your own. So tell us, from that check that you wrote that was fake, that you couldn't cash, the 50, but it was a dream. And never doubt your dreams. That's so important, because you may have a vision of something to come to pass. So what do you need to do is you need to put a plan in action. LP put a plan in action by writing the check. So he took that action and wrote it, and he got the visual of what he wanted. So with that being said, When did things start going really good for you and you started getting your finances together and you started making it and you started living your life? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I got introduced when I went to school, and I was in school, and I got recruited by a company. The company promised me a job in the field I was going to school in. Long story short, I went to this job. I got unemployed. The person that hired me there, he left the company, and there I was in a place that I did not want to be.
Wow.
I was not in a position I want to be in. And one day after work, I went home, and my neighbor was in his garage, and we were talking. He said, "You sell my house, I'll give you $1,000." $1,000? I was only like 19, 20 at the time. That was a lot of
And
money.
that was a
to me.
lot of money back then, yeah.
So at the time, it just so happened that my mother had a friend that was living in New Jersey, that was trying to find a house down here. So I told my mom the next day. Long story short, 45 days later, he came to me and gave me a brown envelope. Opened it up. Later that night, it was $1,000, and that $1,000 changed my life. And I said right then, I was going to go into real estate. I went to real estate. Lots of studying. My first 3 years of real estate, I think I made a total of about $2,500. And then a millionaire friend of mine that I met through my sister told me, I asked him, I said, "Man, how did you make all this money in real estate?" And he sat down and he told me exactly what I needed to do. Step by step, put me in contact with the bankers. Everything I needed to do, he showed me.
Now, was your credit intact then? Was your credit in good standing and all that?
My credit was jacked up because I went to school. I was getting all these student loans, these Pell Grants, all this loan, this money, and I thought it was free money. I had a girlfriend. I got a card for her. She went out and she shopped or whatever. I thought it was free money. I didn't pay it back.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Wow. Wow.
But through the process, I learned. Once I started working at the job, and started applying for loans, I couldn't get it because my credit was messed up.
Okay.
So I had to go through the self-taught thing of how to build my credit back up. And I did that. And I found a niche. I found a niche in my business. My niche was to sell houses to people that had challenged credit, just need a chance to get to where they need to be. And that's what I started doing at a very young age.
Wow.
I made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, yes, I love that. I love the fact that you didn't let it stop you because of the past mistakes that you've made and, the downfalls. And we're going to talk about that as well.
Okay.
So let's talk about, so you were doing really good and you were getting established with your real estate development and everything and stuff, and you were making good money. However, there was a time where things didn't work out as planned. Let's talk about that moment where things started falling to pieces.
Okay, it was in June of 2003. No, May of 2003. Well, it started out April 2003. I was at the top of my game. I had over 151 pieces of real estate. Everything was managed by myself. I had a really cool system, very organized. One of my banks was so impressed with it, they chose me, one of the individuals, to represent their bank in a bank commercial. The very next month, I went into the bank. Long story short, shortly after I left the bank, everybody in the bank was murdered, execution style.
Wow.
Everyone was killed. For the next year, the FBI literally interrogated me 4 to 5 days a week. I went through hypnosis, polygraph. They dug my past up back to when I was 18. They knew stuff I had forgotten. It was crazy. And it took me into, and I was paranoid because I felt that the people that were in the bank knew who I was because of my car. So it threw me in a very, very deep depression. As a result of it, I established post-traumatic stress, PTSD, and I pretty much lost it all. What I didn't sell, I lost because I locked myself up in my house in my 4 walls for about almost 2 years straight.
Wow.
Stopped going to church, stopped being social. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I wasn't gonna kill myself, but I was so depressed, didn't know what to do. So I just stayed right there in my little place, and
Wow. So when that happened, LP, how did you get to bounce back? What did it take you to jump back in the game, so to speak, of life and start living again, or did it take a little bit of time for that to happen?
okay. So there's a Bible verse, Jeremiah 29:11.
My favorite.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper and not harm you. Plans
Yes.
to provide a hope and a future.
Yes.
Okay. Once God gives you a vision, His word never returns to Him void. Okay. That vision is going to happen. So whether or not, if you stay on His track, on His roadmap, or whether or not you take different paths,
Yes.
but no matter which path which path you end up, you're gonna always come back to His will. Always remember that. No matter, I don't care who you are,
Okay.
what you're doing, you're gonna always come back to His perfect will.
How do you know you're gonna come back?
You just know. You know that you know.
Okay.
If you don't need a little bit. You don't need a lot of faith. You don't have to be a Bible stumping, Bible carrying. I'm serious. You know.
Okay.
Like the Bible says, just a little bit of mustard seed,
Yes.
a mustard seed faith. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. You don't need a whole lot. And I tell you, let me tell you, He's done so much for me in my life, from where I was to where I am now, what I've been through. I lost my wife in a car accident. I got married again, and I should not have, because I was dealing with post-traumatic stress. Went to prison. Okay,
So why did you go to prison?
wrote a check. I wrote a bad check as a result of I was dealing with post-traumatic stress, and I was making some decisions that I should not have made. And I didn't reach out to the people I could have, but I didn't, because I wanted to. I was dealing with everything internally,
Okay.
and that was a wrong move for me.
Okay.
But hindsight is 2020. It is what it was, and it'll never happen again.
Okay.
So
But this is real talk right here, because there's so many people that need to hear your story, the real and raw story of LP, because, what does LP stand for?
living proof.
I love it. Living proof, because he is living proof. He's telling his story, and he's being transparent, because not everybody will come forth and share their life story of what they've been through. They want to cover it up. They want to wear a mask, and they don't want to let other people know, because they want people to just see the good side. But the great part about what you're doing is that you're coming on this show, and your platform is actually being available to you, so you can help that next person, because I know that's what a philanthropist
Yes,
person is.
philanthropist.
You want to help them exceed where they are now. You want to get them out of that stuck mentality. So I love the fact that, you chose to rise back up again and to catch it. That's what I always say, rise up and catch it. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're rising up and you're catching it, and you're gravitating other people to link up with you on that, and I love the fact about that. So when you went through your PTSD and you went to prison and all that, there was a point. Was it after? When did you? Okay, so after prison, how did you bounce back?
All right. Okay. So when I was in jail, and at the time, that was the best place for me. That may sound crazy, but that was the best place for me.
How long
at
were
the
you in
time.
prison?
I was there for about 4.5 months.
Okay.
Okay. And it was the best place for me. It gave me a chance to regroup, to get my thoughts together, just to get me together.
Okay.
And at the same time I was there, I was fighting the court system as far as going through a divorce with it.
Okay.
But the enemy just kept coming in. Hey, look at you now. No one's gonna deal with you. You've been in jail, man. No one's gonna.
He talks to you like
no
that.
one's gonna deal with you. You're washed up. You're done. When I went there, my credit score was a 330. I had over $1 million in judgments. Over $1 million. outside of the $1 million judgments, the IRS was hounding me for about $475,000.
Wow.
It was a mess.
So you had to be overwhelmed in your mind.
I was overwhelmed.
And so how did you climb out of that pit? How did you get in the right mindset to say enough is enough? I'm not going to tolerate this anymore.
God's word, God's promise. That's it. His promise. He told me, this is what he told me before I went to jail. And I never forget it. I was riding down the road, it was raining, and I was crying. And I was like, what am I going to do, Lord? I don't know what to do. You know, I'm going to jail. What am I going to do? And just a still voice started talking to me. And the words were plain as day. Trust me, you'll be okay. In 7 years, you'll be okay. And when I tell you that peace came over me like I never felt before in my life, I actually got happy. I was ready. I said, let's go. I'm going. Let's go. I was so at peace going down that road when my spirit told me, hey, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. Give it 7 years.
Well, my
8 years.
girl Regina, she always has told me this, and it has really stuck. Is you got to be at peace, like you said, right where you're at your highs and your lows. And if you can ever balance that, because a lot of people are always at peace on their high level, but when you're at your low level and you feel like, you know, you've lost everything, everything is just over, you know, how can you have peace with yourself at that point? And that's when you just have to grasp it, and you have to cling to God. And I love the fact, and when I say God, you know, whoever your higher power is, and our higher power, of course, is Jesus Christ. So, but I love the fact that you chose to say, okay, let's go. Let's just go. Let's do it, you know. So tell me how you bounce back. Tell me some of the things, because I don't want to hold up too much time, but I want to hear how you bounce back because of things that's going on in your life now, because there's people that are watching here, LP, that need to be inspired. They need to know your story, and they need to know how they can get to a place where you're at today.
Okay, I'm going to summarize this up. It's a long story. I'll make it short.
Okay.
When I got out of jail, I was living off of $555 a month, basically homeless. I was living from my sister's house to my brother's house on their floors, okay, living off of $555 a month. That was it, okay? One day, I was at his house, my brother's house, and I saw him looking at TV, and I never look at TV. A commercial came on TV, and they had President Obama at the time come on TV. It's like he stepped out of that TV and said, hey, support the USO. I was like, what's a USO? I didn't know what that was. But doing some research, you know, if you guys ever heard of Bob Hope, I think, who's dead now, he's a guy that used to go around the world entertaining our troops with comedy. So this is what the USO was. So I was trying to figure out, how am I going to support an organization that was created by a president, a huge corporation, little old me, that just got out of jail, no money, 330 credit score. What am I going to do? And my spirit just started talking to me.
Okay.
Use your resources. Use your resources. Use your resources. Use your resources. You have everything in you that you need. Everything.
Yes.
Long story short, I did a 500-mile walk from my hometown to Washington, D.C. to raise money for the USO. Raised over $4 million. And once I obeyed my spirit to follow those instructions, everything else opened up for me.
You stepped out in faith on that.
I stepped out in faith. Exactly. That's why I said you just got a little bit of faith, not a lot. Just a little bit of faith.
Wow.
And trust me, and I don't use the word trust a lot, but trust me on that. If you can just trust your inner voice, they tell you what to do. You know, we hear it all the time. Then sometimes we might say, "Oh, something told me not to do that. Something told me to do that."
Yeah. That's
your inner voice. That's your spirit talking to you. You've got to learn how to listen to it.
Wow.
And it opened up so. I tell you, up until as of today, I have been restored 100-fold. Everything I lost a lot, a whole lot. So I just praise God for that. And
love it.
you know, that's the one.
And one of the things that you always tell me, and it kind of makes me cringe, but it's true, because you'll say, Robin, don't say that no more. Or you'll say, I'm going to hang up on the phone with you. Don't say anymore that you lost it all. Because I was speaking that. I was saying, I've lost it all. I've lost it all, you know, with everything, losing my family, my home, everything and such. But you say, no, you haven't lost it all because you're still here.
Yep.
And so that has been an encouragement thing to me, because it kind of changed my shift and my mindset, you know, on how to think differently, because there could be people that are watching this and you feel like you have lost it all. Maybe you've been to jail. Maybe you have lost your family. You know, maybe you have lost your job and you feel like your credit score is too bad that you can't get back up on top and you're feeling like you're just drowning. Well, let LP's testimony be an example to you that you can rise up and you can catch it and you can come out of the pit. He shared his credit score was like a 330 and he went to prison. But what happened was, you said it was so defining. You saw a commercial. And I firmly believe in signs. I'm all about signs.
Yeah.
And that was a sign for you to rise up and to catch it and think outside of yourself, to think about somebody else. So I love that.
Yeah, but also, here's the thing. Here's the kicker to this commercial. No one has ever heard of that commercial.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Nobody. No one. Not even the USO. No one. No one has ever heard of that commercial.
So guys, pay attention, look at your surroundings, make sure you know who you're connected to. It's very important. That's why I always say that, you know, connections matter, who you're linked up with, who you're socializing with, who you're talking to, because you never know, the next person that you're connected to could be the link to your destiny to get you to where you need to be in life. And through this was that commercial that worked for him, that motivated him to jump out and step up and take action. I love it. I love it. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, I'm going to have my next guest, and then at the end, you can stay, right? Okay. We're going to have both the guests come on, and we're just going to do a little social wrap-up, okay? All right, this is Robin Shockley with Focus Forward Robin on the go here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network for the show, and I'm so excited to have LP with me today. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to hear your story and let my viewers, we have viewers all around the world that watch our show, and so it's exciting. So maybe something that he said today could have been a trigger point for you to rise up and catch the vision to walk out your purpose as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network at Studio T at 4040 Chapel Hill Road in Douglasville, Georgia. I am so excited for my next guest because this is a personal person who is in my life for many, many years. We go way, way back. We were childhood friends, which is really, really cool. I have Miss Lysandra White with me today.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be here?
I am.
Lysandra White, she is actually an international facilitator in Abu Dhabi and what's the name of the other place?
Qatar. Doha.
Doha, Qatar. Okay. I only know Abu Dhabi because that's my dream to go to Abu Dhabi. But I only know that name. But anyway, so we're going to talk about what you do now versus and go back to where you started from when you knew me as a child, okay? So tell us a little bit what you do now in Qatar.
Right now, I was a principal
Okay.
in Qatar for 3 years, and before that, as you mentioned, Abu Dhabi for 4 years. I was a
Okay.
head of faculty there.
Okay.
So I'm in education. I started there as a teacher and then moved my way up,
Okay.
and then from there going to Doha.
Okay, awesome. But you have family that's here in Atlanta, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you come here during the summer months, I think, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
come for the summer months for vacation, to see the family, see my children,
Mhm.
and my granddaughter when she's here.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. Awesome. So, is it hot over there?
whoo, is it
Is
hot?
it is it different? Well,
115 on any given day, and humidity.
Yeah.
That makes it feel like it's 120.
well, our former guest that was just on here now, Mr. LP, he actually just come back from traveling to Abu Dhabi.
Ooh.
Yes, and so he was sharing all kinds of stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, being on the camel and all these nice sports cars and the hotel. It was so elaborate and fancy and everything. It's really, really neat. So tell us some of the things that you do over there for fun. What are some of the fun activities?
Well, there's a lot of things. You can go on a desert safari. I've done that before.
Uh-huh.
Of course, brunches. Brunches are huge on Fridays. You
Okay.
must go to a brunch.
Okay, brunch, is that, so what kind of food is it there?
All international foods from everywhere.
Really?
Yes, and it's
Wow.
just this huge spread laid out everywhere.
Nice. I'm a food blogger, so I'm all about the food. I would love to go to another country. Wouldn't that be so cool for me to go to another country and go live at another country and talk about, video blogging with the food at the restaurant? I would just love that. That's a bucket list. Anybody want to help me provide that? Message me, you can cash at me. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit how we know each other. Lysandra and I, we used to live in the same apartments, which was Broadmoor Apartments in Greenville, which was a little town called Berea. And we used to walk to school together. Every morning I'd go eat breakfast at her house, and her mom would fix us. I don't remember some of the cereal. We ate a certain cereal. I don't even remember what we ate. But your mom would cook or fix us breakfast or something, and then we'd walk to school together, and we were just best buddies. It was a fun time in our childhood. So a couple years ago, we got back together, and we connected on social media, and she was talking about how she was going to be coming to Greenville at that time, and I was like, well, we need to link up, because if you're coming all the way to Greenville, and you don't even live in the country, but you're visiting in Atlanta with family, let's meet up. So we met at a restaurant, Portofino's, and she sat down with me and she started telling me her story. Because this is a woman who literally should not have made it out of the community that we were in, okay? And I'm going to let her tell that part of her story. But she is a huge inspiration to why I do what I do today. Because I started out having the vision to do a Berea business blog, which is for people that are in the Berea community where we both grew up, who are out making a difference, or either they've rose to the occasion and left the community to start something and become something great with purpose. And so hearing your story was that huge inspiration. So I started writing Berea business blogs based off mine and yours encounter that night at Portofino's.
Oh, wow.
And through that, I was like, you know what? I want to do something more of that. So then Regina I did a little bit co-hosting with her over the years with the radio show, and then she started her own network, which is here, the Regina Sunshine Global Network. And she prompted me and said, "Hey, Robin, you are great with radio. You would be great for the TV. You have that bubbly personality, you need to do it." So I started thinking, I was like, well, I could take that Berea business blog and I could make something with it, and have different people come on that, are making a difference in the community, or people that are in businesses, and kind of help build them up and promote them so they can help the next person. And so you were a major inspiration to this.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty big.
That's-
My childhood friend of 30 years, you were a major inspiration. So let's talk about your pit, because when we went to, elementary school, middle school, high school together. And so tell me a little bit about your life story. Start from the beginning.
Well, I'm an only child, first and foremost. And as you stated, we had we have or had at that time a really good relationship, really good friendship. And, time progresses and people grow apart. In high school, I was a high school teen mom. I was pregnant at 16. I had my first child at 17. When I walked across the stage to graduate, I was pregnant with my son.
Yes.
From there, I kind of did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And I eventually, I went to church, of course.
I went to church with you some. I
Yes.
remember that. I
Yes.
remember as a child, I went to church with you some.
I went to church, and for some reason, I was just tired of being where I was. And it was time to move. I knew because I got the unction. It's time for you to go.
Okay, let's talk about, though, with you being, in high school and being pregnant, and then go and having children, and then, like you said, walking through. How many children do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3 children.
Yes.
So on your 3rd child, you were graduating as being a pregnant mom.
Second child.
2nd child. Okay. So did you go through any emotions of feeling less than or anything about yourself? Did you feel, like, am I, why is this happening to me? Am I going to be, am I going to make it out of here? Am I going to go somewhere with my life? Am I going to make purpose with my life or plans for my life? Did you ever think like that?
Nope. I did not. I think one thing subconsciously, there was something that happened to me when I was in the 10th grade.
Okay.
I was on my way into the class, and there were 2 teachers standing at the door.
Okay.
And those 2 teachers, because I was pregnant, I don't think they thought that I don't think they knew that I heard them. But they stated, here's another one. She will be a statistic.
Wow.
In the community.
Wow.
So with that being said, I heard it, but it went to the back, pretty much. I didn't feel one way or the other because I wasn't really a big Philly kind of person.
Okay.
At all. And, we progressed on. That helped me to graduate. One person that was very...
So do you think with that statement, like you said, you pushed it to the back, but do you think with that statement that kind of helped push you forward to say, I'm going to prove them wrong? Or
Not
anything?
at that time.
Not at that time.
Not at
Okay.
that time, but we'll come back to that because
Okay.
it did.
Okay.
One person that was very influential in helping me get and learn my style of learning
Okay.
while I was in school was Miss Phillips.
Oh my gosh, she was one of
Yes.
the history teacher.
The history teacher.
Rest her soul. God rest her
Yes,
soul. She was
yes.
hardcore. I was
She
making
was.
an F, and she helped me rise up to make an A in that class.
Absolutely.
She knew exactly
Same
how.
story.
Yes.
Same story.
Wow. She was a powerful woman.
It was her who
Wow.
actually helped me understand how I learned.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first person in my educational journey that took out time to explain that.
Yes.
You're a visual learner.
Yeah.
So after that, of course, we go through graduation and all
Mm-hmm.
of these things, and then I go to community college. I thought it was nursing at one point, then it's something else, but never education.
Did you have support of your family, especially having 3 children?
I had support as it pertains to making sure that the kids were okay and that, there was somebody to watch them while I tried to go to school and things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
And I ended up dropping out of community college
Okay.
twice
Okay.
because I could not get past algebra.
Okay.
That was my Achilles
That was,
heel.
yeah, I didn't do good in algebra. I didn't do good in algebra at all. Yeah.
I'd made it that far with the information that she gave
Mm-hmm.
me, but there were still some other blocks
Yeah.
to the learning
Okay.
piece that I didn't quite understand.
Yeah.
At any rate, I started to work, and after time went on, my children, well, in between that, I got married and, all of these things. But time went on, I ended up moving to Atlanta.
Okay. But let's talk about the Atlanta, how you got to Atlanta, because the story you told me was you left church.
Yes, I did.
Let's talk about that, because this is a key. When I say talk about signs, this is a major sign. This blew me away how she got from the Berea community to Atlanta.
I was in church. I remember really distinctively hearing, you need to go get a newspaper. You need to get a newspaper for Atlanta. I was like, okay. So I go to the main post office, and I get this, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I take it home. I sit down on the floor after I feed the kids, and, we're all there together, and I sit down and I open up the job
Wait,
section.
time out. Were you working at this time?
Yes.
You had a job at
I
this time?
had a job.
Okay.
And I opened up the paper, and I was like, I don't know, this is too much. It's too much. So then I just said, psh, and I landed right there. I called the people. I left a message. It was about 3 days before I heard back from them. They invited me down for an interview. And while I was sitting there, I just knew I had the job. I knew I had the job. It was some of the questions that the young lady asked me, and she asked me, how did you come to apply for this job? So I told her my story. I said, well, do you want the politically correct answer, or do you want the truth?
Yeah.
So I gave her the truth. She asked for the truth, so I told her, and that, I guess, resonated with her because she was a
Wow.
believer as well. And
Wow.
here I am in Atlanta 20 some odd years later.
Wow.
So that's how I got to Atlanta.
Wow. And so and I remember you saying something about, when you brought your kids, they're small
Yes.
at this age, this
Yes.
time. How old were they when you decided to jump?
I had one in third grade, one in second grade, and the other one was in nursery.
And so it's not cheap, of course, to put the kids in daycare and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I remember you saying that God always provided.
Yes,
He
He
always
did.
made a way.
Yes, He
And
did.
that was so inspirational because kind of like LP was saying earlier, it only takes a little bit of a mustard seed of faith. When you have that little bit, God can take it and make it big and give you big results off of it. So you jumped and you came to Atlanta, you brought your kids, you made it happen, you made it work. So how did you end up in another country?
Okay, well, once I got here, a little time passed on. I ended up going to school. Again, I started out at the community college here,
Okay.
and it was one holiday for my children. I ended up going to their school,
Okay.
and I knew at that point I wanted to come out of corporate.
Okay.
This is the place. I felt so at home, so well there. Any vacation time I had, I spent with my children at school. So that's how I got into the educational field.
Okay.
Finished college 3 years, in 3 years, and then worked in the school systems. After
Wow.
that, I felt like there was a ceiling that I couldn't go any further.
Okay.
I was watching International House Hunters,
Oh, yes.
and they did a piece on a teacher from that was in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And so you know how they give you the tour, and it's like you see all this stuff, and I'm like,
That's what I want to do for a living, by the way. I want to go on tour. Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, that place is beautiful. So I get the iPad out, and I'm oh, this is nice. And then I looked, how do I get a job in Abu Dhabi? And Teachaway came up. This was an agency that actually helps to place you in Abu Dhabi. So I filled out all the necessary paperwork and had an interview with them, like on the phone the next day. And then they tried to get me to come on that Wednesday to Texas. But that was too fast.
Yeah.
So I waited for the March interview.
Okay.
And waiting for the March interview, it was in Chicago at a hotel. So I purchased my ticket, I make my little portfolios, and da-da-da-da-da. So I get on the plane, I make it there, they're calling me, hey, can you come in a little bit earlier? And I'm like, well, I'm on my way there now. Okay, there's this huge event at this hotel, so it's crowded, it's a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. And I get there to the hotel, and it's so many people, I can't function.
Yeah.
And the lady at the desk looked at me and she said, may I help you? I said, I'm here for an interview. I was like, wow, you guys are really, really packed. And she said, yes, we have this huge event today. And at that time, the door opened. Guess who was in the door? President Barack Obama.
Really? Oh,
Really?
I
I was like,
really?
You know, all I
Did you
could do
get
was
to talk
look.
to him?
No, I did not. But the funny thing is that at that point, it was like, I have this job. I have this job. How does this happen? We in the same place at the same time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Not even planned, did not even know.
Yeah.
So at any rate, I end up going up, and what should have been a 15, 20-minute interview lasted for an hour and 30 minutes.
Wow.
It was a really good interview. I came back home, found out I had the job in August. I'm off to Abu Dhabi. I stayed there for, like I said, 4 years. My first year was as a teacher. I taught fifth grade boys.
Yeah.
The principal at that time recommended me for head of faculty.
Okay.
My application that I filled out for head of faculty was actually pulled by the director general at that time to open up a new school. So I went there as a head of faculty and opened up a new school for them.
Wow, that is, oh my God, and it all came from a little girl from Berea, South Carolina, you know?
Yes,
and now she is like, she's rising to the top. I love it. And your kids are all grown now.
Oh, yes.
And you have a grandchild, you said?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I
Yes.
love it. So what do they think about all this, about your life?
They are very supportive. They are very happy. I think they always knew, because it was something that I talked about seeing the world. The world is like a house, and it has many rooms in it, and you should visit as many rooms as you possibly can, because no one person is meant to stay in one room all the time.
Come on with it now. All right.
So they are really excited. I have a new adventure coming up, but I can't reveal it yet.
Oh.
Yes, so I will not be going back to Qatar, but I will be out of the country.
Okay.
So it is my third country that I'll be going to.
I love it. Oh my gosh, you are literally living your best days now, you know,
Yes.
because how old, well, let's not talk about how old we are, but we are
Oh,
older.
I have no problem
okay,
with that.
we're 48.
Yes,
so,
we're 48, and we look good.
And we look good. Yes, we do. Y'all think we look good? Y'all give us a thumbs up if you think we look good.
Uh-huh.
But I love the fact that you chose to jump. Take that action, that leap of faith, and put your finger on the newspaper, and you went there. And then one thing led to another. And so we're going to take a brief break. And when we come back, I'm going to let LP come back. And then I want you to come back. And I want us to talk about how we can be an encouragement to those to help them focus forward, because we have viewers, like I said, all around the country that watch the show. And, you know, there are some people that are going through some pit situations now, and they feel like they're stuck. And that's the whole purpose of having guests on my show, because it kind of helps them say, okay, this is a boost. If somebody else can do this, if somebody else can have 3 children while in high school, you know, and who's not supposed to make it out of the projects or be a statistic,
Yes,
you know, be
yes,
that
yes.
statistic, you know, and to help push you, if she can do it, so can I. And so I want to be able to give you an opportunity to speak into the camera to tell people that when we come back. Will you do that?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. This is Robin Shockley with Focus Forward. Robin will be right back. Hey everybody, this is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. Welcome back. This has been an amazing show. I'm so glad that you guys were on this show with me today.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Likewise.
yes.
It's very enjoyable.
Yes, the stories that, the pit to purpose stories of how you've risen to come out of your, your stuck mode to make something with yourself is so important because there's so many people that watch the show and they need that encouragement. They need that boast. They need that motivation to say, hey, I can rise above. I can get out of this. There is potential within me and I do have purpose, but they don't know how to get to that point. So, I'll start off with LP. Can you share something with the viewers to let them know what is it that can help them to focus forward into the next phase of their life?
If you're saying I want to do something, take "wanna" out of your dictionary, vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Use action words. I'm going to. I'm
good.
going
That's
to.
good. That's good.
"Wanna" is a doubt word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to. I'm going to. And no matter what you do, stick with it. No matter what pitfalls or what obstacles may come, stick to your plan. Okay? And you'll be okay.
I love that. That is so encouraging. So take "wanna" out of your vocabulary and say, I'm gonna, not wanna. I love that. Okay, Miss Lysandra, can you tell us something that will help be motivational and inspirational to the viewers to help them to focus forward as well?
I think that one of the biggest things that we have to fight most of the time is our minds. And to give yourself affirmative affirmations every day. I am loved. I am important. I
Absolutely.
am grateful. I am whatever you may be going through. You're not that. You're something else that would be greater because we all have been placed on this earth to do great things.
Yes.
And I think just doing affirmations every day.
I think that is so important because I always talk about this on my blogs that I write on my pages is that, I speak affirmations, but I have them posted all over my apartment. I got like sticky notes in the bathroom or I got it, in the bedroom, on the mirrors and such. And so it's so important to speak that life over yourself because if you're not going to do it, who else is going to do it?
That's true.
Nobody, okay? And if somebody else decides they're going to do it, that's just a bonus. You come first, right?
That's right.
So it's so important. She said a key nugget there is that you need to do these daily affirmations. And you know what? You might not feel the part. There's some days I do not feel that part. But I walk in my kitchen and behind my sink is a declaration and I look and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to say it. And so I just start saying it and then I start shifting. My mind starts shifting because I'm like, I'm getting it out of me. I'm speaking it. I'm creating it in that atmosphere. So that's so important. So your key nugget is to change the way that you say things, and your key nugget is to say the positive affirmation. So it kind of ties, in together. And that basically, guys, this is what we're saying. If you feel like you are at a place in your life and you want more out of life, you feel like you're so complacent and you think that you can't make it because of this thing happened to you or that thing happened to you, let the stories of LP and Lysandra be an example to you to help you to focus forward into your purpose, because I truly believe everybody has that potential within. LP knew there was something different about him as a child. He knew he had that entrepreneur mindset. All it had to take was his mama opening up the door and saying, if you want something, you're going to have to do for yourself. I'm just going to provide the needs. Lysandra had to get that visual to say, you know what, I'm not going to be a statistic. I am going to make a difference, and I am going to be somebody great. So get your mind in gear, shift that thought, realize that there's potential within. And if you have that potential within, you will discover what your purpose is. And once you discover what your purpose is, you'll be able to run with passion. And I'm a living testimony as well of that, because most of you know my story, my pit to purpose story. I was a product of a teen pregnancy as well. My biological dad wasn't in my life as a small child, and I grew up with a stepdad who became my dad, I love him. He is not like a stepdad. He is literally like my dad. And I'm blessed with 2 fathers today, which is amazing. But I didn't always feel confident about myself. I went through some hardships. I went through a marriage breakup. I went through a season of not being in contact with family members. And so I felt like I had lost it all, and you were one of the ones that told me, don't say that. So I stopped saying I've lost it all, because I really didn't lose it all. So if you're watching this show today and you're at a place in your life where you feel like you've lost it all, maybe your spouse walked out on you, or maybe you lost your job, maybe you lost, a parent that's always been close to you, whatever the reason it could be, just know by hearing the stories that, you can rise up and you can be on top again. But you got to shift that mindset. You got to start with those affirmations. You got to start speaking the positive attributes over your own self. All right, guys, this has been an amazing show. I'm so glad that you came on the show today. It means so much that you came all the way here to Douglasville, Georgia, to be with me, yours truly. I'm so thankful. If you are an entrepreneur, or if you're a community advocate, or you're just a regular person, common, not doing a whole lot, but you want to make a difference in somebody's life, here is your opportunity. All you got to do is connect with me at Robin Shockley on Focus Forward Robin page, or my Instagram, Robin Shockley, or my YouTube page, Robin Shockley. You can email me at r.shockley18@gmail.com. And I'm always taking sponsorships as well, so you can cash at me at Robin Shockley as well. I'm always looking for people. If you have a flyer that you're doing something in the community, or if you are a business and you want your business promoted and you want me to talk about your business, all you got to do is send me the information, send me the flyer. We'll talk about it. We'll do a business transaction, and I'd love to get you publicized on my show. So, guys, tell us really quick how people can get in touch with you if they want to connect with you one-on-one and they want to get some advice, if you have something to share with them, and they want to connect. So how would people get in touch with you?
Simple, my email address is lpitts13@gmail.com. LPITTS13@gmail.com, or text me at 864-449-6197. Again, 864-449-6197.
Awesome. What about you, Miss Lysandra?
You can inbox me on Facebook at Lala White.
Lala White.
So
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, this has been an amazing show again. Thank you so much for being on the show. I want to encourage you in closing that if you have a Pit to Purpose story and you want to share it, let us know. Remember, you can focus forward. If you think a thing, you will believe a thing. If you believe that thing, you're going to achieve it, just like my awesome guests here are doing today.